Hello, Timothy. I'm sure you know who I am because, I've had a discourse with you on plenty of biracial live videos, and a couple of people sent me your page and wanted to know what I thought about you, even though it's just my opinion, but whatever. I'm going to aver how I feel about you. So, after watching some of your videos, I just remember perceiving you as a type of person that is bombastic. To the average person, it sounds plausible, but to a well-educated person such as myself, I can see right through the lies. I don't demur to a person that I perceive to be mendacious because that person has a paucity of research to support and validate their premise when it comes to biraciality, and you fit the bill, okay? And just in case if you ask about my credentials, I have a video that shows my credentials. I do have a master's degree in counseling, a bachelor's in social work, and a degree in human services. So I come fully credentialed, replete with knowledge, education, experience, etc. A lot of what you say, some things I would say are plausible and cogent, and there's some other things you say that are completely left field. And I listened to you last night because my sister, Mrs. Magic, I was listening to some of the things you were saying. I'm like, where is your research? Your opinion is vacuous. My opinion is vacuous because anybody can have opinions. A lot of times opinions are flawed. They are a reflection of a person's hidden agendas. They have an agenda to either impose their paradigmatic views or belief systems upon other people so they can feel better about themselves, or they want to be right just so they can sleep better at night. It could be a myriad of things. I'm not that type of person. If you're going to come to or share your thoughts on a given topic, especially when it comes to biraciality or multiraciality, you better come with some research, okay? Because I don't care about your opinion. And I asked you last time during one of our lives, the last time you and I had a little run-in, I asked you, where's your research? But no, you just want to keep going and going because you had no research. I come to this discussion with research. Empirical research, sir, if you've taken a stats course, let alone a research class, and I'm talking about upper level, you would understand that research is a very powerful instrument, okay? It has the power to change public policy and law, and even in the judicial system, it has the power, sometimes the omnipotence, to make or break a case. Yes, that's what research can do. It's a proven evaluative instrument. Opinions mean nothing. So when you come onto these live platforms talking about biraciality, I just chuckle, I just laugh because you try to exude a level of bombastic rhetoric to fool the average person into thinking that you know what you're talking about. But I'm not fooled because I know a lot of what you're saying is flawed. I would be remiss if I pretended I didn't see it and didn't address it. I wouldn't do that. I have to call it out when I see it. I'm not impressed by your intellectuality at all. Not at all. Because you have an agenda. Now, I don't know what's going on with you, but I said this before and I say it again, is you're mixed race. Nothing you can do to change that. You should be proud of it because all the aspects of who you are makes up the person that I'm looking at. That makes you. Now, when you're talking about RAPE, were you around during that time? How do you know it was RAPE? You do realize, yes, that did exist. I am not negating that. But there was also some relationships that were consensual, but due to miscegenation laws, people couldn't publicly promulgate their love because they could have been persecuted. They could have been unalived. So there were reasons why, critical and serious reasons why they couldn't openly profess their love for one another, because there was, at the time, grave consequences. But not all mixed race people were the resultant outcome of the RAPE. That's a flaw. That's a lie for you to even think that was the case, because it's not. Some were, and some were not. So unless you lived during that time, which you were not alive during that time, how do you know where your European ancestry came from? How do you know if your African ancestry is not the product of RAPE? How do you know? They don't get a pass. In fact, Dr. Lewis Henry Gates, I'm sure you know who he is. He's a very prominent historian with a PhD. He talks about Africans sold other Africans. It was big business in Africa. And even in the States, in the South, Africans own other Africans. And they weren't their brothers and sisters. Yes, it's a fact. I can send you the video. And again, I defer to people that have the credentials, that have done their due diligence, their research, I defer to them, and I demur to people like yourself that comes to the table with a paucity of empirical research. So until you can come to the table with empirical research, it's, to me, all hot air as far as I can see it. I'm not impressed. I'm just not. So I think I covered everything, but I just wanted to just let you know I thought you said in one of your videos, correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, mea culpa. But in one of your videos, you said something about blacks come in all shades. Now, if you didn't say that, I stand corrected. But let's say for giggles, if you did, that is not true. If you're talking about the Khoisan people, their genetic markers are known to be paralleled to Southern Europeans. They have a lot of genetic sequencing that are similar to Southern Europeans. Even though they are considered the oldest tribe, if I'm not mistaken, in Africa, they're not the same as sub-Saharan people. Like, their genetics are different, their haplogroups are different. Igbo, same thing. They're known to have sequencing that's similar to a person of multi-generational mixed ancestry. But West Sub-Saharan Africans, people from, let's say, Ghana, Nigeria, Niger, Senegal, Congo, or the Republic of Congo, all those countries, they never came here as light skin, ever. And you know that. Now, if you've taken history courses, you would know that is not true in terms of them coming over here in various colors. Excuse me, they didn't come here in various colors. They were very dark skinned with 4C hair, and that's a fact. They don't come in all colors. I don't know where you're getting that from. And in case if you want to bring up the blue eyes, dark-skinned black Africans with blue eyes, it's called Waardenburg syndrome, sir. Then there's a sub-variant of Waardenburg syndrome, which is heterochromia. Research it. Like, do your research. Don't skim on the top. Dig deep. Mariana Trench deep, okay? Before coming to these live discussions about biraciality, because a lot of what you're saying is false. That's called Waardenburg syndrome. Those are not natural blue eyes like you would find in European stock. Then there's 4 different types of albinism. There's atavism, and there's another thing known as leucism. Leucism more applies to the animal kingdom, but sometimes people try to cross-reference that to people. But my point is, research before you come to these panels trying to dominate the conversation with a bunch of mendacity and nonsense, because that's all it is. It's nonsense and malarkey. Now you have a blessed evening, sir.